Gavin Free and Meg Turney are a married couple who have experienced a lot of success on YouTube, most notably with a channel called the Slow Mo Guys. Among their millions of subscribers, however, was one fan who somehow developed an insane obsession with Meg Turney in particular. His name was Christopher Giles, a man who wrote hundreds of personal notes to himself about the married couple, most of which revolved around taking out Gavin, who he saw as direct competition to Meg. One day, he can no longer contain his rage and drives a full 11 hours to their house to get even. He breaks in and searches for them for a long time, but Gavin and Meg manage to successfully hide in the closet and call the police. Apparently, Christopher fires randomly throughout the house for a long time before giving up and leaving, at which point he makes contact with the police at the front door. Christopher Giles passes away during this confrontation. I'm just glad the police were able to arrive in time, because I have little doubt that he would have come back later to do the same thing. When exploring the deepest depths of a mine shaft, the last thing you want to run into is the paranormal. Proving Demons claim their crew did just that. Publishing this video recently in May of 2019, the YouTube team writes, during a routine exploration of an abandoned mine shaft and railway tunnel, we saw something unbelievable as we turned a corner into a tunnel. The mine itself is creepy enough. You can hear water running and dripping. It's muddy, dark, and to put it simply, it's not a place you'd want to meet another being, passed away or alive. And about 17 minutes into the exploration video, it appears they do. A light can be seen in the dark distance.
What the heck is that? Is this a mine? Don't know. You guys, what the heck? Why is there a light down here? We can't walk through that. Is there noise there?
Why is there a light at the end of this mine shaft? Only the ghost holding its candle could answer that. The team doesn't stick around to find out, and who can blame them? The fact that a light was visible so deep in the mine gives me no other choice but to believe this is paranormal. Is this an authentic electronic voice phenomenon caught on camera? Published by Massage ASMR in April of 2013. This video was filmed at a temple in Egypt in October of 2012. The YouTuber's friend shared this footage with Massage ASMR. The short clip appears to have captured a strange childlike sigh while on a temple tour.
Probably guys over there, I know. Sorry.
According to the uploader, there were no children on the tour, which consisted of mostly Australians and South Africans. The voice sounds very out of place, which is why they thought it might be an EVP, perhaps even speaking ancient Egyptian. Is Cleopatra trying to speak to us? What is her message to the modern world? Or is something else haunting this temple? The answer remains unclear for now. What would you do? TikToker Jack's Paranormal posed this question alongside this scary video, originally posted by YouTuber Tim Morozov. Something on the opposite side of this glass door is trying its best to get in. The handle shakes aggressively, and you can see there's no one on the other side. Then behind him, a side table drawer starts to open and shut. The moment the door handle lets up, Tim escapes the room. While some in the comments suggest reading the Bible, and others commend Tim for making a run for it, TikToker Mad Max / Mr. Raymond has other advice. He writes, grab the door handle, show him who's boss. Now I think the real question is, what are the odds of this commenter trying this himself? A beautiful home built in 1934 turned ugly when in 2009, the real estate mogul who bought the home took his wife's life, claiming the woman went missing on a hike. A search began for his wife but turned up nothing. A year later, the man put a new addition on his home that raised enough suspicion for police to request a search warrant. They found the wife buried beneath the home. The man was given more than 20 years behind bars, and the house remains abandoned. Published by Dark Exploration Films, this walkthrough of the home is incredibly disturbing. Taking viewers through the grounds and inside the home, the explorer comes upon the hole in which the woman was buried.
Let's go into the room that everybody wants to see. So this room was added in 2009. And once the police found out about this construction, they were a little skeptical.
Many in the comments are bewildered that anyone could live in the home they buried their wife in without getting telltale-hearted to the point of insanity. Others feel a sense of darkness and foreboding and even a feeling of sadness there. Surely the woman's spirit remains. Blake Dunkley wants to document this old haunted grocery store, and he challenges you to prove him wrong. Noises always seem to be coming from one room away.
You hearing this? It's the creepiest building I've ever been in.
Some much more obvious than others. He heads up the stairwell to prove that this is real. I think this next part sounds like a door slamming shut from somewhere above, and I also think it sounds like he needed to get the heck out of there.
Light up here. Oh, I don't know if you heard that. It was so loud.
On the second floor is a single door that is locked when Blake tries it. This is the only door heavy enough to cause the slamming noises coming from upstairs before, but it doesn't even open. The only areas left to check out are the break room and bathroom. Nothing of interest is in here, so he's just about to leave when he hears one final sound.
And noises.
In my opinion, this is the same door that was locked moments ago, now slamming one more time. Mike Cass once used his drone to track the whereabouts of a clown on the loose in his hometown of Carlsbad, California. First, he finds someone who may or may not have been in a clown outfit wandering around this blown out building. It's somewhat difficult to tell from this distance, but I think they could be wearing one. Mike eventually finds this building, but no one's there, yet it looks like a strange man could have been behind him all along. Mike doesn't find another trace of them for almost a full year. Then one random flight session, it's back.
Yeah, so basically,
And once again, the hunt is on. This clown has been surprisingly good at hiding in the past, but Mike's drone sees it all. 4 days later, it finds itself cornered. I'm surprised Mike was able to see it, because I think it blended in well and looked like an animal at first.
yo, what is that? Probably nothing. Yo, what the heck? Yo, oh my god, look at this.
With its bright red hair, I was wondering how this clown was able to hide it all, but when it lays down, it seems to only show black parts of its outfit. This would actually be impossible to see if you were on the ground, especially if you weren't looking. Walking by a clown lying in wait is not something I want to think about for long. Mike Cass chases it into the woods until power lines force him to back off. After being chased like that, the clown must have picked other places to stay because it was never seen or heard from again. A YouTuber named Mikey Mamps became fascinated with the legends of Clinton Road, a haunted place in New Jersey where everything from psychos to phantom trucks are said to chase people and sometimes even end lives. After an unsuccessful night of ghost hunting, Mikey Mamps decides to pilot his drone down the road during the daytime, figuring that the noise would attract the attention of whatever's out there. Sure enough, this odd fellow is walking down Clinton Road. It almost connects with the drone before Mikey flies out of range, at which point the clown takes off. Aside from the bright wig, their outfit blends in with the scenery surprisingly well, and they easily manage to slip away, knowing exactly where to hide. It's impossible to see where it is until it steps out for an ambush at the time of its choosing, a tactic I'm sure it's tried on countless people before. Mikey manages to avoid another rock and the clown, realizing it's been outsmarted, decides to run again. It seems like it's been caught for sure, but then it does something that gives Clinton Road its supernatural reputation.
Where'd you go?
It seemingly disappears. What should you do when the Ouija board answers you? Published to the r/ghosts subreddit, Nepa Smash asks viewers their thoughts on this scary video, which was filmed during a Ouija board session in a haunted room of their home. In the clip, the group asks if any spirits would like to communicate. After a moment, there is an alarming bang off screen.
Are there any spirits that would like to communicate with us?
Two of the boys look up. Right before the bang, however, another mysterious action unfolds, but it's hard to see if you don't know it's there. A paintbrush is thrown across the room. Although it's difficult to tell in the video, this Imgur photo shows the incident in more detail. Many in the thread think a non-supernatural explanation might be that the guy laying on the floor off to the right could have played a trick on the others somehow, but some note that he doesn't even seem to react. As for the knock, well, the combination of the knock and the projectile does seem uncanny. Setting the rest aside, Redditor Eekecum draws the right conclusion. Please tell me you closed out of the Ouija board after that. Who knows what might have happened if they didn't. I need to include this video because I've never come across a paranormal video before with such an even split between people saying that it's absolutely fake and so obviously real. Some people are certain that this is the legitimate ghost of a child, and others are sure that this is special effects, light reflections, and a plastic bag, and a host of other non-paranormal explanations. As for me, I think that I probably would have noticed something that large moving out of the corner of my eye, so I think it could be fake. But then again, I can't say for sure unless I was there myself. Maybe the camera recorded something that was not discernible by the naked eye. While exploring an abandoned paper mill, the crew from YouTube channel Blow6 captured two mysterious events simultaneously, an EVP and an apparition. To me, the apparition is clear as day. You see it emerge from the right to the center of the screen, as if it's drifting down the tunnel, but the EVP is not as clear. It sounds like a bird cawing. That's not the only mysterious thing about this clip. I also noticed a strange flicker in the light at the beginning of the video. Watch the backlight closely. Was that a camera glitch? Or is some entity fiddling with the light switch? I think this phantom is up to something. While exploring an old abandoned college, YouTuber Exploring with Melor jumps out of his skin from this paranormal encounter. Let's watch.
No date on it. What's that one say? Shit's up. So it was that 1983.
It seems to me like the ghost may not appreciate Melor looking through this album in particular.
So it was that 1983.
Would you stick around to pry around some more? I certainly wouldn't. Come Out and Play, posted in January of 2014. This poltergeist knows how to have fun. A group of friends are hanging out along a city river at night. As the cameraman scans the area, one of the girls spots it first, a swing swaying back and forth rather forcefully on its own. The night is still, the wind's barely moving the leaves in the trees, and yet this swing is moving with energy. As Lex Cotton writes in the comments, the thing is moving too fast to be pulled by strings or the wind. Who then is moving it? And do you want to play? I sure wouldn't, because it looks like this is the work of a nefarious ghost. This dashcam video was taken in Sao Paulo, Brazil, and it shows a tiny bipedal creature scurry across the road, not even as tall as the concrete barrier on the right. It looks pretty good until you look down at the feet and notice that it's gliding across the road and not taking real steps. So in my opinion, I think it might be computer animation. What do you think? Is this unidentified flying object real or fake? YouTuber YB Normal shares this video of a daytime sighting in an unknown location. This man spotted the unidentified flying object on the tree line and got his camera out to capture it. It disappears for a while behind some trees before making a resurgence.
I mean, just look at those movements. It just doesn't look like a conventional craft to me. This is crazy.
It wobbles from one side to the other. A closer slow motion view captures this movement more precisely. A couple of things gives this away as CGI for me. The absolutely motionless Steadicam, when at the beginning the cameraman sounds out of breath from having rushed out to retrieve his camera, so he would assumingly be holding it by hand.
Okay.
And a second issue is the sound of a breeze while the trees are completely stationary.
Watching this, I don't know what it is. I thought it was a plane at first, or maybe a helicopter. I've been watching this thing hover.
Still, a good effort overall. What do you think is going on here? Two friends are feeding their pet rabbits in the living room when they suddenly hear a mysterious noise coming from outside. Both of them are feeling pretty brave as they creep up the window and continue recording. As tough as they might be, neither of them are prepared for what they see next.
There's something like
Crouching down there.
Yeah, could you get the light? Yeah. What? Yeah, there's something back there.
Outside, some sort of orange four-legged humanoid is facing away from them. It's very low to the ground. Look directly under the clothesline if you can't see it. It's a strange glowing color that doesn't seem to belong in this world. Play the tape again in slow motion and you can clearly see the humanoid sprint away as soon as one of them knocks on the window to get its attention. It's clearly startled as it retreats over a fence with a speed too fast for its bulky body. The two of them rush out in the backyard for a fight, but they find that the creature is already gone. They check a nearby alley and quickly give up. Nobody was hurt. As for what the humanoid was doing, perhaps it smelled the scent of two rabbits and went in search of a fresh meal. There needs to be an explanation for these strange lights. Posted to the r/ghosts subreddit. Paleontologist Key 440 captured the security footage in his backyard. He writes that the property has been super active since they moved there in 2016, and this footage is from May of 2021, which must mean these types of occurrences are nothing new. The footage shows lights hovering and flashing, first to the left of the frame, and then on both sides simultaneously. Some in the comments think they're fireworks, but one user remarked that there is no smoke. What do you think it is? Extraterrestrial or paranormal? I don't think either option is very ideal. This footage supposedly comes from the capital of China, where a massive, slow-moving creature makes its way across the polluted city landscape. It's hard to tell how many legs this giant creature has, or what its overall intentions are. It doesn't seem to be that aggressive, but the ground shakes under its gigantic steps, and army helicopters circle above, obviously ready. According to the uploader, this footage was suppressed by the Chinese government, who has a tight grip on all forms of news and social media. This could very likely be CGI, but if it's real, then there is no information as to how this situation was ultimately resolved. Isaiah Harris published his sewer exploration in March of 2018, describing it as the utter most scariest video that I've ever recorded yet. He went on to say, "I think it was mostly because of the position I was in, and how much ghostly things I heard and seen." The first clip shows Harris along with two young accomplices exploring the underground sewer during the daytime. They make their way along a tunnel to an area with pooled water, which has frozen over with ice. In a second video of the sewer exploration, Harris, joined this time by his brother and sister-in-law, shows how they entered the sewer by lifting up a big iron storm grate and crawling under. The tunnel is filled with graffiti, and they jump down from this initial tunnel to a broader area. A ladder is also positioned there, suggesting that this area is a regular stomping ground for exploration. They continue on, and Harris explains to his crew that there will soon be a ditch with shin-deep water, and there may be a den beyond, as he found evidence of people living there once before. The ditch area is filled with ice and a layer of snow over top. Harris jumps down, breaking through the ice. The other two decide to turn back because they think they've heard something in the tunnel, but that's when Harris looks deep into the tunnel beyond and decides that he too wants to hightail it out of there. After he claims to have seen something down there, they start to make their way back, but pause when they hear a growling sound. Harris also notes that there's a handprint on the wall. As they arrive at the exit ladder, they also hear tapping sounds coming from within the tunnel. They manage to make it out of the tunnel without incident, but one does wonder whether the creature within was human or monster. There's nothing more terrifying than what you cannot see. Posted to the oddly terrifying subreddit, this scary video shows a drive along a highway at around 5:30 at night in December of 2021. After a moment, a storm bursts into view via multiple lightning strikes. And then on the horizon you see it, a black funnel twisting ahead. The tornado appears to be straight on in the direction this car is driving. As the lightning continues to flash, the twister is moving off to the left and growing larger as the car approaches it. Many in the comments are wondering why the car continues to drive toward it. Notice the raindrops on the windshield. They're moving horizontally toward the twister. When this happens, as Redditor Ballpen Dodger notes, you're too close. And when you're facing a tornado like this, that is the last place you'd want to be. Kevin LaShawn and his large group of friends feel fairly safe doing a 24-hour challenge in a mental asylum that's supposed to be haunted. They aren't expecting to find much, and for a while they don't. However, two experiments stand out in particular. First, they invite the ghosts to play a game of cards with them by setting up flashlights in a semicircle. The flashlights stay turned off during most of this experiment, but they do seem to repeatedly respond when one person in particular comes to the table. Perhaps this person has a natural tendency to attract spirits more than the others.
I guess they want you to play a game. Come over here, sit by me. They want you to play.
Whoa.
Come over.
These flashlights are turning on by themselves.
Later, Kevin is playing with an app on his phone that is supposed to communicate with ghosts when he gets some pretty interesting responses.
Is anybody in here? What's your name? My name's Kevin. What's your name?
Even if this app is programmed to say scripted phrases at random intervals, I do think it's odd that it says something similar to Kevin's name shortly after he introduces himself. Overall, Kevin is unable to verify that this location is haunted, though many of his viewers have decided it most likely is. Let me know what you think about this entry, and what other experiments Kevin and his friends could have done to summon any spirits. Unknown creatures can be startling, but none more so than this one. This clip submitted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by KidRob97, wondering what in the heck this creature is. Suggestions in the comments range from a bat to a giant flying squirrel to a calago, which is a flying lemur. Knowing what it actually is wouldn't make this footage any easier to watch. The creature is making one of the most agonizing sounds the human ear has ever heard while it bounds across the ground, hopping and unable to fly. The people have somehow caught the animal, which is tethered to a stick. If you've never seen this type of creature up close, this isn't the way you'd want to encounter it. People in the comments wonder if the animal somehow got stuck on this branch. However, the poor creature ended up in this position. I think we can all agree with Lisa's Matrix that this is just heartbreaking. A YouTuber named Guy Terry hears someone crying outside of his door and starts recording for both evidence and his safety. He quickly shuts the door and then appears to be torn between helping the stranger and running away. He decides to open the door once again, a bad mistake. Something about the timing of the video and the aggressive posture of the woman seems absolutely real to me. First uploaded in 2007, this video is one of the earliest ghost sightings to go viral. I'm not sure if this was truly paranormal or if someone broke in, but I do think it's not staged. What do you expect to encounter inside a morgue but the passed away? Published by Kay in September of 2016, this exploration of a haunted abandoned morgue turns cold. Kay and crew arrive at the morgue at night, wandering around it and find a way in. They enter through a piece of metal exterior that has been ripped off. While exploring, they come across the beds where the people are examined.
Oh my god, that's the deathbeds. Wait, mate, that's fucking the deathbeds.
They also spot a creepy message on the wall that reads, "You're not supposed to be here. We will get you." In another room, dripping in red liquid, is the word beware.
Why does it say beware? What the is this? What?
Beware of what? Let's see. Down a hallway, they find a mattress on the floor. Apparently, someone is calling this mortuary home.
Is that a microwave here?
They then come across what might be the crematorium, or maybe just where the passed on are kept waiting.
Oh my god, mate, what are these doors? What is kept in there?
At one point, when they've just entered another room, one of the crew turns quickly around and pushes his friends back the other way. That's when they hurry out of the morgue. Kay explains that what he saw in the last room was the shadow of a man on the floor. When he entered, the man got up and glass started cracking. Was it the man whose bed they saw in the hallway? Or was this a ghost that was about to cause true havoc? On 3830 McMahon Road sits a lone white house which at first glance looks rather unassuming, but is actually a source of otherworldly evil, a place so foul that not even 2 separate exorcisms could fully cleanse its walls. Over 800 Native Americans are said to have lost their lives in the surrounding hills against federal forces, many of whom are thought to be buried under the Hinsdale House, fueling its foundations with anger. And that's just the beginning. Sometime in the 1800s, two outlaw brothers used this New York property as their sick trophy room. They would go after stagecoaches and left behind no witnesses. The bodies were mostly kept in the attic or left in the basement without a care. Outside, more lives were taken over the years at a pond and also at an old tree at just the right height for a rope, which was later struck by lightning. Nowadays, the heavily haunted Hinsdale House has become a location for ghost hunters like John and Amanda of Elevated Vlogs to explore whatever secrets lie within. John and Amanda are amateur ghost hunters without much paranormal experience, so their reactions are about as raw as it gets. Their night begins with a tour from the house's current owner, a man named Daniel Clays, who spared this house from getting demolished in 2015. He seems to have formed a truce with the spirits in return for saving them. The way he talks about his experiences, the more activity their camera catches around him.
There's definitely something that's sinister, maybe darker, that comes out once in a while. But your best thing is to just ignore it and move on and go do something else. We were just standing in the kitchen and we had a camera on ourselves and they were talking about the exorcism this, exorcism that. And
Daniel leaves them to explore the house on their own.
And just kind of do a little explore before we sit down anywhere. And
did you hear that?
They also hear this noise, the sound someone makes with a hand over their mouth.
But he said he has experienced somewhat of something dark here. Experience.
They enter the room of Mary Dandy, the youngest daughter of a family who lived here during the 1970s, and find bugs on their backs, legs up. An odd characteristic that the room has become known for. An entity has attached itself here, something foul enough to attract flies and send them lifelessly to the floor without its presence. Or maybe these flies were placed here by Daniel to fool John and Amanda. Either way, the activity only seems to increase ever since standing in Mary's room. I think something runs ahead of them down the stairs into the basement. Maybe the final steps of someone trying to get away during a terrible event.
Most people that check this place out will come with a team.
Oh yeah, I'll go down first so you can show them this really cool.
Did you hear that?
What was that?
And when they try to communicate with it, a scared little girl's voice comes across the airwaves.
Are you okay with us staying here tonight?
They decide to head back into Mary's room. Again, their spirit box picks up the same crying girl as before.
Are you okay with us being in this room? Can we sit here?
And this is the third time they pick up her voice. Definitely the same girl the whole time.
Are we safe?
She's following them from room to room, and maybe behind her is the sinister force that Daniel warned them to stay away from. They decided to check out the attic before they get too scared. Remember what I said about the attic earlier? Sure enough, John feels a strong hand wrap his arm to pull him forward, followed by a supernatural confirmation from a gruff male voice.
Dude, I'm not even playing, man.
Did someone touch John's arm?
Like, no lie, it felt like there was just something
Dude, that sounded like, yeah.
They flee downstairs to regroup and find they can no longer leave. Something's outside.
John.
Oh my god.
I literally heard something outside. I'm not even messing around.
Dude.
Did you hear that, dude?
No, I know. It sounded like metal tinging.
I don't hear it, but I do see it. Look again, it's a ghost caught on live stream. And even though I didn't hear it earlier, I do hear chains rattling during this part when they get closer to the door.
What's that noise?
There's nothing left to do but wait it out in the Hinsdale house. After a night of fitful sleep, they decide to explore the hillside before getting out of there fast. They're still afraid from yesterday's events, but it's their job as paranormal investigators to keep going no matter what. So with their spirit box out, they wander into the woods. Within minutes, they record a voice. I hear 3 words: I need help. Then they hear a familiar voice, the same one responsible for grabbing John's arm in the attic.
We're coming into the darker part of the woods here. Would somebody like to speak with us? Oh. Yep, that was definitely a male voice.
And this part is either Amanda's voice edited in, or else somebody is humming a creepy tune right next to John. The forest is dark and cold. I agree with John that this is a different language.
We're in the middle of the woods. There's no electrical.
They come to a part of the woods that's particularly eerie for no reason at all. It's just a feeling they both have. That's when they realize the reason for their fears could not be directly underfoot.
Did you die here?
The thought of communicating with the other side has always made me uneasy, but speaking with someone while standing on their unmarked grave, as elevated vlogs seem to have done, takes that uneasiness to a whole other level. This quick EVP is a direct message from the beyond.
Have you guys done a lot of investigations? Have you guys done a lot of investigations?
I'm sure you'll hear it. There's a crystal clear male voice whispering, "Go away." No one in the room seems to notice it. I don't think there's much room for interpretation here. The spirit gave us an order, so we should probably listen. This seems like his one warning.
Have you guys done a lot of investigations?
This deep web video is a collection of old horror movie scenes spliced together, most of which I can identify. There's one clip that I don't recognize though. Other people don't recognize this scene either. They even think that a psycho could have spliced a small portion of real video into a horror movie montage. This would be the perfect way to brag about what you've done without making it too obvious. Let me know if you recognize what movie this woman is from, if any. If nobody has seen this before then, as much as I hate to say it, I think this portion might be home video from a genuine psychopath. Not only do you have to worry about pyrotechnic incidents at work, you might have to worry about ghosts as well. YouTuber Joey Nike 12 posted this video of a store he claims is haunted in Kingsville. At the beginning of the video, he tells a coworker, "Let's go record that room," before heading to the haunted room in question. They set a video camera up to record the purportedly paranormal activity that occurs in this room. About 3 minutes into the footage, you can see a dustpan move ever so slightly, and then not ever so slightly. It falls over and a moment later, the door next to it slams closed. The boys re-enter the room nonchalantly, not knowing the strangeness that has just occurred there, but after coming across this video that went too far, they may not want to enter this haunted storage room ever again. Visit Louisiana and you might just run into a gator or two, or maybe 1,000. Published in January of 2011, Marvin Carter writes, "This is something you just don't see every day." Carter says this video was sent to him from the mouth of the Mississippi by one of his friends. What you're about to see will make your skin crawl. At first, the river looks normal with dozens of rocks jutting out of it, but when the camera zooms in, you realize those aren't rocks. Then, even more horrifyingly, this little speedboat starts its journey through the sea of alligators. They're all moving about, but the good news is, it looks like they're just trying to get out of the way, not start trouble. While many in the comments agree that this is terrifying, most also suggest that gators generally don't mess with you. Still, this scary video desperately needs an explanation, and commenter Canoeing the Edge of the World seems to have one. He writes, for some reason, alligators just decide every once in a while to have a little get together, and they bring the whole family. I think I'll skip this reunion. What you discover when out late at night can make your skin crawl. Posted to Reddit, the Redditor writes, people are saying it could be a skinwalker. The on-screen caption reads, something weird is happening in my town, and after watching the video, you'll agree with that statement. The video begins with something hopping on all fours over a hill while roaring in an animalistic manner. It's hard to tell what the thing is at a distance, human or animal. The second clip in the series reads, dude, something is in the shed at Desert Willow, and it certainly sounds like it. Something is beating against the barred doors of a shed at night. There's also a terrifying growling voice heard, though its words are inaudible. It's difficult to tell if the thing is human, but it continues to beat at the walls of the shed. Part 2 of the video series reads, stay away from Dynamite Park. In it, barking, howling, and wailing are heard. It doesn't sound like a dog, nor does it sound human. Again, the video captures an unidentified creature at a distance, racing around on all fours. Could this be a skinwalker? Don't stick around to find out. Nevertheless, it appears some serious mysteries are taking place in that town. This paranormal investigator's creepiest capture in a cemetery is bone-chilling. The YouTuber was exploring the hauntings at St. Joseph Cemetery near Kimswick, Missouri, when she captured several EVPs.
Michael?
Later, while she was attempting to communicate with the passed on using a spirit box, Michael made his physical cameo. Watch to the right, just above the vehicle.
Which grave is yours?
Nobody appears to be in the vicinity, so to whom does this shadow belong? I vote for Michael. Two friends use face swap for a laugh, but it turns into a scare instead that leaves one of them speechless. This video is really creepy because there's absolutely nothing but total darkness behind him. Certainly nothing for the app to have mistaken for a face. The face behind him doesn't look anything like his own. It's a pale apparition with no eyes and no smile. Freaky, right? Pasha Pal is a popular YouTuber in Russia who gets into some pretty crazy adventures, but only one video is creepy enough to make this count down. I'm talking about the time he and Maria went exploring some woods that are said to be frequented by members of a secret society. They bring their camera, but if caught, scary things will no doubt happen to them in a moment's notice. They are outsiders in this world. Soon they come across a fire pit and know they've found a main camp. Some discarded red candles are near a small altar with this picture, and I would like to know more about who this is a picture of and what they're known for. That way we can know more about what this society is up to. They decide it's not worth risking their lives going any deeper and start to make the long trip back to his bike. That's when they realize they've already stayed too long, saw too much, and now they can't leave the forest alive.
В натуре правда. Короче, в натуре валим отсюда.
Maria thinks she hears somebody, and it appears she's right. Lurking in the forest is this mysterious figure who tries unsuccessfully to step out of view. There is still enough time to run away, and so they take off as fast as they can. A creepy sighting of a large unknown creature is probably one of the scariest things to be found in the forest in quite some time. The camera slowly focuses on a figure with strikingly hideous humanoid features on an oversized head underneath hunched over shoulders. It easily clears a tall balcony covered in ivy as it straightens up and glares at the camera, its mouth gnashing. The edge of the dark woods at its back. Notice as it runs how the rest of it looks like a monster. It doesn't look like a person in a mask. If this is a costume, it's an expensive one that goes all the way to the ground. The uploader of this video claims that this is a sighting of the infamous Dogman of Michigan, a humanoid creature who is said to have been roaming the woods for years. If so, then this is the closest anyone has ever gotten to it before. But with that said, the quality of this video would suggest that it's either very old or has been edited. I can't tell which it is, so maybe you can help me decide. This double doll haunting recently occurred somewhere in South America. Two girls are happily talking to the camera while clutching their Barbie dolls. They are admiring their toys when suddenly their toys admire them back. Both dolls twist their head all the way around to look at the girls, who scream and throw their possessed toys to the floor. You can clearly see that the girls are not holding the dolls anywhere near their heads when they start to move, so maybe it is real after all. If anyone can translate what these girls were saying, then perhaps it will help us figure out if this video is fake or legitimate after all. This video, taken at the North Dallas High School in Texas by a YouTuber named Smart Dolphin, captures a very hard to find figure at the end. I've highlighted the possible ghost so that you can see it more easily. This is without a doubt the colorless outline of a human. You can see his feet shift a little bit as he changes his stance if you look closely enough. With this in mind, the question becomes whether or not this person was living when this video was recorded. I guess it wouldn't be too hard to make somebody look all gray like this with some decent editing equipment, but let me know if you think this is a genuine ghost or just a fake. Don't Look Out the Window, published in November of 2011 by Mr. Jocko van Heerden. A group of friends just hanging out has one more hanger-on than expected in this scary video, filmed in Johannesburg, South Africa. The young people are just chilling in a bedroom when something catches their eye. Turning toward the sliding glass door, an enormous pale creature is standing outside their window watching. The creepy creature's features are vague, and at first it's not hard to tell if what's there is actually a living figure or not, but then it very clearly moves. Someone in the room gasps as the enormous figure lurks out of sight. What is this thing? Is it supernatural or extraterrestrial? And why is it watching them? I don't think I'd feel safe in that house ever again after this. Are children still at play in this haunted orphanage? Extinct File explores this abandoned place, and it looks like someone is watching them. First, they hear the sound of children, which sends one of them running. Their EMF meter captures some energy near the stairs.
Mira, 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 mira.
Soon after, their radios go off.
El mío también.
Later, another reading puts them on edge. and while listening into the radio, they hear someone breathing.
No mames. ¿Qué pedo?
And then a voice. But it is this shocking evidence at the end that proves this place is truly haunted. Did you see that? Along with a strange groan, look at the doorway below. A shadow figure is watching. Who is this mysterious shadow? I think it's the spirit of a former orphan of this asylum. These flats are supposed to be abandoned, so who is in this window? Posted to TikTok by Scared to Death Zero, this crew is looking around an abandoned encampment at night when they see movement in one of the upper windows. Zooming in, there's no one there, but then they move their flashlight from the window, and the figure again peeks out from behind a curtain. Many in the comments are completely freaked out, while some think it's a squatter, others are not so sure. They say it has no face. What is this thing? Would you try to find out? It's 4 in the morning when Casey Jones awakens to a creepy scratching noise coming from above. It's loud enough to be a rodent, but as she's about to reveal, it's something unexplainably worse.
No, it's not a mouse. It's this. What the f is that thing? Does anybody know? Oh.
It looks like an exceptionally large grasshopper that's roughly as thick as her thumb. I know this insect must have a real name, but giant mutant bug is all that comes to mind. Feel free to clue me in on its actual identity. This giant flat creature is actually a beached oarfish laying on its side. A confirmed bystander pushes it back into the water with her paddle, which could be a mistake because it proceeds to head directly for the person holding the camera.
Oh my god.
Although it seems more concerned with getting away than taking a bite, this is still not an animal that I would want to have anywhere near me, especially in such shallow waters. It almost seems to make eye contact as it passes directly under her feet before straightening out and swimming away. A young woman was walking home late at night when she was met with a worst case scenario. Someone was following her. Posted to TikTok by Carolina Judah, the TikToker captures a montage of her journey from the foggy streets to the bus to a dark walk on her road home. A man is seen standing behind the bus stop. He is nothing but a shadow. She says she ignored him and just continued walking. Capturing a shot between her though, she finds that he's trailing her about 20 feet away. As the journey continues, he seems to be speeding up, and in fact, he gets closer. He appears to be wearing a hood. Carolina says he began shouting something at her, and she thought he'd been drinking. He falls behind a ways, and as soon as she rounds a bend, she sprints home. Although she couldn't see him anywhere when she arrived, 20 minutes later, she heard the doorbell at the gate. She called her mom, but there was no answer. And outside her window, she spotted the man standing just outside the gate. The man later jumped the gate, crossed the garden, and tried yanking on the door handle. Carolina locked herself inside the bathroom, waiting for her parents to arrive. He eventually stopped, but she stayed put, too afraid to move. In the video's comments, TikTokers suggest not to walk home when you're being followed, but rather lead the stalker to someplace with people and/or bright lights. This route looked like it had neither, so what should she do in this case? Any suggestions? What happens when a djinn is out to get you? YouTuber Hassan Barbar knows a thing or two about that. The djinn is on his tail in this video. He first hears it banging around in the next room.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم أعوذ بكلمات الله التامات من شر ما خلق بسم الله.
Where is it hiding? It seems so close and yet it's nowhere in sight. Still, it's right behind him at every turn.
طب وينك؟
Soon the jinn's energy grows unstable. And it's nearer than he thinks. Watch the door to his left.
طب في حد؟ طب إذا أنت وين اظهر لي؟ يعني أعطيني أي إشارة.
One of Hassan's hands is holding his camera, the other is at his side, so it's without question that the door was nudged by the jinn. Back at the rocking chair, the jinn is heard moaning again.
كيف عرف إنه أنا بدي ألمس الدب؟ كيف عرف إنه أنا بدي ألمسه؟ طب وينك؟
What is he saying? What does he want? I think this game of hide and seek is not a game at all. The jinn is after Hassan's soul. There is a demon in this abandoned house, and Dimitri from a sip of fear is about to face him. Inside the kitchen, he finds a strange trapdoor in the floor. But before checking out what's down there, the demon tells him he's here.
Я здесь.
Кто ты?
He starts to grow paranoid. And later, a stationary camera captures some activity. The demon seems to be a one-hit wonder. And he tells Dimitri that he's too late. Then the lights go off.
Ответь. Ребят, короче, там походу все отключилось. ПГФу так больше не ответил.
Apparently, he's told Dimitri to leave, and this time Dimitri listens. I find the slamming doors were the most intense part of this visit. The demon wouldn't have to tell me twice. I would have left after the first warning. This video, supposedly leaked by a former NASA employee while orbiting the Earth from space, apparently shows the fabled Black Knight satellite in action. According to theorists, the Black Knight satellite is actually thousands of years old and made by extraterrestrials, not humans. Many people believe that NASA is going to great lengths to cover up the existence of this foreign object, as well as whoever created it. The video itself looks pretty old, possibly from the 60s or 70s. The quality is grainy due to either aging or CGI effects. Based on what you've seen here, tell me if you think this is a real cover-up or just video editing. Things get loud in this poltergeist paradise. Posted to TikTok, the original footage is from Dark Ghost Paranormal. In the clip, someone is wandering through a clearly haunted house. You can hear repeated banging before you can see the creepy poltergeist in the act. The culprit in the kitchen cupboard, whose door is banging over and over again. It seems like it will never end, but all of a sudden it stops. As the person steps into the kitchen, a deep gong is heard from another direction. They whip around and are looking toward a refrigerator, but there's nothing there. Although there's thankfully no jump scare, there's certainly something going on in this poltergeist paradise. This footage comes from India, where a woman is seen cleaning up at a sink. Suddenly, a dark figure appears behind her and gives her a hard shove from behind. She turns around only to find the room empty and hurries away. A YouTuber and his friend are riding a motorcycle throughout the Indian town of Ooty when they unexpectedly zoom past a pedestrian clad in ancient-looking robes. Watch this part, and if you happen to share their language, please translate what's being shouted at the person here. I'm guessing that they probably said watch where you're going or something along those lines. Whatever it is that they said, it must have really upset the other person, because after driving in a straight line for about another minute, this happens. They come across the same person as before. Yet this is impossible because there is no way that the person could have been traveling on foot faster than what they were doing on a bike. Suddenly it dawns on them that they were most likely taunting a spirit, and it looks like they actually get off their bike to flee. This video looks very authentic, and I'm inclined to believe it is real because there's no added music or sound effects, just raw footage. If anyone is from the town of Ooty or lives nearby, let me know if these sightings are common in the area, or better yet, tell me if you've ever seen something like this yourself. Look in the mirror before you go to sleep tonight. Posted to TikTok by Ghost Vault. This creepy security footage shows a man snuggling up beneath his blankets in bed, ready to get a good night's rest, or so he thought. As he lays calmly down to sleep, a figure's face appears in a mirror on the wall above him. The woman has a white face and long dark hair. She appears to watch the sleeping man for a moment, her reflection moving around a bit in the mirror. After a time, she slinks off, but does she ever really leave? I'd be getting the heck out of that place ASAP. Crazy George's Bridge is the name of a legendarily haunted location in Tennessee. This bridge overlooks the very same tracks that a man named George once wandered onto and met a terrible fate. Now George's angry ghost chases away anyone who says his name 3 times. Strange magic rituals are also said to be practiced out in the woods to honor his name, and so paranormal activity has become a regular occurrence over the years. Tonight, a brave YouTuber named Mads Entertainment is ready to settle the legend of Crazy George once and for all, and so he goes on a paranormal exploration of the bridge at night from the top to bottom.
Crazy George! Crazy George! Crazy George!
The sound of an approaching engine turns out to be nothing more than oncoming traffic. They refuse to give up the ghost hunt and try to address the paranormal directly by speaking into the night sky.
If anyone's here, you can come speak into my camera.
They are positive that these sound like the noises of a little ghost girl screaming in the woods, possibly a manifestation of black magic rituals in the past. I'm not so sure because I think it could be an animal. Here's the sound again. Let me know what you think this scary voice in the darkness belongs to. Some ghosts just want a little attention. This one apparently isn't getting enough. Published by Jeff Miller in April of 2018. Watch closely as this ghost takes his revenge in this family's kitchen. Something flies off the wall shortly into the video that the uploader says is a picture. Having heard the disturbance, the home's resident enters the frame, heading into the kitchen. Did he come face to face with his ghost roommate? Unlikely, but maybe he should take the hint. The roommate wants the house to himself. A picture is worth 1,000 words, but the only word to describe this one is fear, 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 fear. This photo, at first glance, appears to just be your average selfie, but zoom out and you'll see that the selfie girl isn't the only one in the picture. An apparition appears in the dark hallway behind her, looking very similar to the creepy girl from The Grudge. In a white shirt with long black hair dangling in front of her face, the figure is peering out in all her creepiness at the selfie in progress. Is she a predictor of misery to come? Or maybe creepy Grudge Girl is just photobombing in the freakiest fashion ever? Is this the floating soul of a departed one? Published by Frankly2112 in October of 2008, a ghost hunting crew encountered a strange floating orb while wandering through a cemetery at night. The light glows brightly at the center of what appears to be a semi-transparent figure. Then again, the apparent figure could just be the extension of the light's rays. As the cameraman pans away and back again, the beam moves quickly out of frame and out of sight. YouTuber Price Paranormal writes, "It almost seems elemental or interdimensional." Others note that the light seems to materialize there, and that it appears like someone holding fire in their hand. What do you think this is? Are the spirits alive in this graveyard? I'd be staying far away from this place. If you saw someone in a window just standing and staring, what would you think? Would you consider it abnormal? Would you be concerned about their mental state? These Lithuanians saw this strange staring man as cause for concern when they posted this video to their YouTube channel. Reposted to the Chills Narrator subreddit by Martillo, the Redditor writes, "Couple of Lithuanian YouTubers are driving with other couple friends around the city and they come across this strange guy in his apartment. They're saying that he maybe is possessed. The windows in the building across from the Lithuanian's car are all darkened, apart from one brightly lit window on the second floor. There stands a man appearing to stare out into the night, oddly still. Upon closer inspection, the man looks like he's rolling his head around, before turning to the side and staring off again. He stares forward for a time, this having gone on for a solid minute, before turning around and switching off the light in his apartment, likely because he notices the men outside are shining their light up at his window, watching him." Martillo notes that although the men in the video are laughing, the image of someone staring out their window blankly is somewhat scary. He says the behavior is strange. Well, that may be so. You could argue the same for the behavior of the occupants of this car. This group of friends decides to go into an old middle school that's rumored to be haunted. The building has only recently been abandoned, and it's still in relatively good condition, so there's not much to say until they come to one section of the school that's much darker and filled with mold. The group still feels safe in their large numbers down here, and they bravely trudge through a series of musty hallways. They don't see anything out of the ordinary, but when they put the video on YouTube later, somebody points out a possible shadow figure in the distance during this part in particular. I personally think that it could just be stacked debris, but then again, I can somewhat make out the faint outline of a shadow that's roughly the size of a child. The more I look at it, the more I can notice its legs and head in particular. Let me know if you agree, or if you think I'm looking into this situation too deeply. A Facebook user named Andrea Collins believes one of her security cameras caught a ghost late in the afternoon on March 22nd of this year. And after taking a look at the evidence for myself, I think she's right. Ordinarily, I would say that this is a bug crawling across the camera, except in this case, it looks like a little ghost girl with a white dress and long black hair. It's also positioned perfectly in the middle of the screen, exactly where a human would stand, so my bet is that this is an apparition seeking help, or at least some attention. And if this is what Andrea sees in her yard, then chances are her house is haunted too. You have phantom co-workers? Well, you're not the only one. Published by David Condley in February of 2017, this security footage was captured at around 5 in the morning. The video doesn't identify the workplace, but the footage shows a reception area, perhaps of a hotel. A man is sitting at the front desk on a computer when this happens. Maybe it's just a breeze, or so you would think, as the man stares at the piece of paper perplexed. A tree in the corner of the room starts to shake. This prompts the man to jump to his feet in shock. Spooky noise ensues, and this creepy combination sends the man leaping over the counter and fleeing this haunted place. Are his coworkers playing a trick on him? Or are his coworkers ghosts? Either way, he might want to start checking the job ads. Maintenance technician is servicing the famous Tower of Terror ride. One day, all alone. According to the surveillance video, however, he may not have been so alone after all. A phantom-like figure briefly appears in the seat directly behind the mechanic, but he doesn't notice and keeps going down a safety checklist of some sort. Then, about a minute later, look what happens about 4 chairs to the left of where he's sitting. Some people are saying that this is a camera malfunction, but others believe a spirit was trying to get his attention twice and failed. I did some research and found that the Tower of Terror ride has apparently caused a small number of reported heart and brain problems over the years since 2005. Let me know if you think one of these unfortunate passengers is now haunting the ride. This ghost is trying to bum a ride. Posted by Ghost Videos in July of 2020. A man was driving in Johor, Malaysia when he crossed paths with a hitchhiking spirit. The dashcam footage shows a dark, empty room at night. According to the timestamp, it's around 2 in the morning in July of 2019. As the car barrels down the road, a semi-transparent figure appears in the dark lane on the right. You can barely make out the apparition as it holds out its thumb to catch a ride. What do you think? A live person half hidden in the darkness? Hitchhiking in the darkness of night? If so, what is the spirit's destination? We may never know. Warning, if you buy this flat, you'll have an unwanted roommate. Published by Seeker of Ghosts in April of 2022, the paranormal investigator is trying to communicate with the passed on through a spirit box when this happens. The spirit then sends him a clear message, but he doesn't listen. So the poltergeist tries to warn him further. The lights continue to flicker as the spirit box goes haywire.
В тот момент мне стало очень страшно.
Then he asks what the spirit's name is to no avail. Rather than answer, the spirit gets angrier. He apparently doesn't like anyone prying into his personal life. He even comes to visit.
Ой, чтоб меня опять сейчас что-то не полетело.
Did this paranormal investigator overstay his welcome? It seems he was never welcome here at all. YouTuber Eder Hernandez and his crew are about to enter the Devil's Cave, and what they will witness here may change them forever. The guys seem rattled as they approach the cave, and you'll see they have reason to be.
¿Oíste? Güey, fue adentro. ¿Fue adentro? Verga, mi gente. No mames, se oyó aquí en corto. Si fue adentro. Si fue adentro, fue adentro.
Let's take another look at what they saw. It looks like a faceless being. As they rush away through the jungle, they catch another creature in their purview.
No mames. Güero, ¿dónde vas? Rápido. No mames. Madre, güey, acá está esa mamada, güey. Límpiala. Espérate, súbete.
Did you see that? Here it is again, slowly this time. There is definitely a figure standing there, but is it the devil? A third capture seems to blur the lines even more. What are these figures? I'm not sure if they're demons, skinwalkers, or the devil himself, but whatever they are, I know I don't want to get a closer look. This photographer may have captured a real-life mermaid on camera. Published by Top Generality in May of 2022, this mysterious photo was taken in a swampland location. The pic appears to show a female figure with the bottom half of a fish. The mermaid lies in shallow water, but her features are hidden under a hood. She is also wearing a long sleeve shirt. Apparently an award was set up for this mermaid's capture. According to the channel Top 5 Best, what makes some skeptical about this mermaid is its wardrobe. Who's heard of a mermaid wearing a top and a hood over its face? But if not a mythical creature, what is this? Leave your theories in the comment. Thank you so much for getting me to 50,000 subscribers here on my Clips channel. If you want to support, please press that subscribe button. Let's get to 60,000 subscribers next. Thank you.